Already mentioned previously, the word Raja becomes royal in English. So J and Y are interchangeable. So Sanskrit is everywhere in English. Mahabhaga, oh noble one. Even Maha comes into English as mega because Germans have to pronounce Ha as it Ga. Like Vahana becomes Wagon, Volkswagen. So they have to say Ha as a Ga. So Maha becomes mega. So Magna Carta, mega, all these words in English comes from Maha. Mega star, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhuta Bhavana, who is the original cause of the cosmic manifestation. Paritushyati, become satisfied. Vishwatma, the super soul of the entire universe. Tishtata, being situated. So Tishtata comes into English, but I don't want to bore you. Nija Shasane, in his own governing situation. Okay, so we'll do call and response with the translation also. O noble one, if the king sees that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, here the word sees is in the sense like overseeing, supervising, ensuring, making sure. That's the meaning of sees, not the CC. So, if the king sees the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, and the super soul within everyone is worshipped, the Lord will be satisfied. Okay. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki, it is a fact that the government's duty is to see the Supreme Personality of Godhead is satisfied by the activities of the people as well as by the activities of the government. There is no possibility of happiness if the government or citizens have no idea of Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the original cause of the cosmic manifestation, or if they have no knowledge of Bhuta Bhavana. So, Bhuta Bhavana and Vishwatma are, there's a slight theological difference. I'll see if I can expand it a little bit. Or if they have no knowledge of Bhuta Bhavana, who is Vishwatma or the super soul. The soul is everyone's soul. The conclusion is that without engaging in devotional service, neither the citizens nor the government can be happy in any way. At the present moment, neither the king nor the governing body is interested in seeing that people are engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, they are more interested in advancing the machinery of sense gratification. Consequently, they are becoming more and more implicated in the complex machinery of stringent laws of the nature. People should be freed from the entanglement of three modes of material nature. And the only process by which this is possible is surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is advised in Bhagavad Gita. Unfortunately, neither the government nor the people in general have any idea. They are simply interested in sense gratification. The word Nijashasane in his own governmental duty indicates that both government and the citizens are responsible for the execution of Varnashrama Dharma. Once the populace is situated in Varnashram Dharma, there is every possibility of real life and prosperity, both in this world and in the next. Om Ajnanatimanandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vande Nanda Vrajastrinam Padrenum Avikshnasha Yasam Harikatodgitam Punati Bhonatrayam. So this is not a very esoteric, exotic invention of Vaishnava Brahmanas from India to rock up to a king's court and talk sense into them. It's not something new. It's not like something exotic. These Vaishnavas just rock up into a king's court and like, yeah, we got some free time at hand. let's give you some philosophy. No, that's not, it's not anything exotic. If you look closely at the history, the Greek kings that considered themselves gods, Naradeva, Alexander, idea, the whole idea of his conquest of the universe was he considered himself as the son of Indra. That's why there is Indra in his name. You ever noticed? Alexandra, Indra. So he considered himself the son of Indra, and he was a student of Aristotle. Some of you may know. Alexander was a cherished student of Aristotle. He went to the Gurukula with Aristotle, literally, like just vanished from his father's house, goes to the Gurukula with Aristotle, comes back, and is now his one ambition, his one frontier is to unite this whole world under one secular Vishnu. He has his own version of Vishnu, but you know what I mean. So that's Alexander. Romans, they were gods among men. I mean, literally your lifespan would be reduced to like 30 minutes if you considered the king any less than Naradeva. Like we're talking 30 minutes, maybe less. Remember the gladiator? So, not surprising. Let's move a little east. You ever heard of Naira must have heard, Cyrus, from Persia. So Cyrus was actually called Messiah, the messenger of God. And his original name in Sanskrit, actually Cyrus, when you go to the linguistic, it was actually Kurus. The way they have to write in Avestin, it becomes somehow Kurus, it becomes Cyrus. But anyway, he was one of the departed grandchildren from our Kauravas, Kurus. So Cyrus was called the Messiah. Messiah. Jesus is Messiah. Cyrus is Messiah. So no jokes. He was the king. He liberated the Jews from Nebuchadnezzar and then gave them some donation to build their own kingdom. So that's Cyrus. Let's go to the pharaohs, Egyptians, Naradevas. The way they were cremated told you how they were regarded as the representatives of God on this planet. It was incredible. The amount of coronation, the amount of yajna that went around the coronation of pharaohs was incredible. When Alexander first went and they made him a pharaoh, he was like, as we say, like blown away. It was like went off the hook. Of course, Cleopatra made it a little exaggerated. But what we're trying to say is, this is not any new idea. Let's come a little bit east. Go to the China. I mean, the terracotta army is still one of the most cherished monuments of China, isn't it? Why? Because the king was actually, the funeral of the king was performed along with his army. And even now, the Chinese state is still if you see one, like, I know it looks like an imperial kind of a communist state, but if you look closely, they are like the kings of China. Just look at their lifestyles. Look at the way they rule the country. But what's the problem? What happened? What happened? So originally this was all, King Solomon, I can keep going on and on and on and on and put you to sleep. King Solomon, King David, King Saul from the Bible. So let's keep going on. The caliphs, all Naradevas, they were all like gods on the planet, gods in the center of the people. So it's not a Vaishnava deviation or some kind of Vaishnava orthodox pastime to make some king into a Naradeva and then anoint him with arati, anoint him and do some aratis so that you can expect some, good dakshinas. No, that's not, it was never like that. So what's the point of being king, being this Naradeva and the leader, is very simple. As great men do, so the common people follow. Yad yad acharati sreshta tat tadevetaro jana. It's not like, wow, not so esoteric, simple. If the king has common sense, and king deals his life with common sense, then the people, it's just natural for people to follow. There's no need for an imperial state. There's no need for a dictatorship and, weaponizing salvation. Say, accept my God, or, you have two choices, accept my God or die. Okay, I'll choose the first option, please. So, no, it's not weaponizing like that. So he led a life like that, and when people saw it, it was just a natural inheritance. There's no weaponizing salvation. So that was as simple as that. So yad yad acharati sreshta tat tadevetaro jana. So king lived like that, and he was Naradeva. And now that he has trained people so much, now he's become a Mahatma. Not just an Atma, he becomes a Mahatma. And then he's allowed to take some taxes to keep the welfare work going. That's just a very standard situation. But what happens? What happens is, as we cross a certain age, there is something called a pendulum swing. You ever heard of this? Galileo speaks about it. A pendulum swing, or dialect, Hegel's dialect, or I don't know. Okay, Plato's political swings, or anyway. Okay, this you will know. Newton's equal and opposite reaction. Okay, thank you. Okay, bingo, we got it. We get there. So what happens is, when the pendulum swings, historically it's a social fact. What happens is, the pendulum swings on one side, it has to come back to the other side. So as the Kali comes, initially the glory was given to the kings. Gradually the glory is sought by the kings. And then the glory is forced by the kings. And then the kings have to take, once the king keeps losing, the chain keeps losing that command, the chain of kings, that Adarshi, even Krishna was worried when he was speaking to Arjuna, Yoga Nashta Parantapa. This was coming from the saintly kings. While Krishna, 5,000 years ago, he's disappointed. He's saying Yoga Nashta Parantapa. If he's disappointed with the saintly kings at that time, now we can just imagine our situation now. You see? So this was a chain, and then what happens is, when people lose their qualification, when people lose their authority, authenticity is a better word, authority comes with the baggage. When people lose their authenticity, then they have to start pretending. They have to put up a mask, and they have to force people, and they have to weaponize with religion. So that's what happened. That's why the great Roman Empire fell. Why did Roman Empire fall? When Constantine took up to Christian religion. I don't have any problem with Christian religion, just in case anybody on the air. I'm just saying, when the king starts demanding respect by weaponizing religion, just like the example of Constantinople, or there's so many, but anyway, we'll just stick with that. What happens is, then you have to artificially force respect. Then you have to artificially command respect, and the religion and the state becomes one. Then saintly kings have to come. Saintly sages have to come. This is what happening with Vena. His dad was a natural administrator, natural saint, natural Rajayogi. But when it was inherited by Vena, that natural administration, that natural saintliness disappeared. Now he has to force. He actually tells this, after the sages talk, he actually tells sages, you are idiots, you are fools. What Vishnu? I am Vishnu. I am Vishnu. Who are you getting your wages from? You are on my payroll. So don't mess with me. You're on my payroll, remember. So don't mess with me. Who's your Vishnu? Say my name. Who's your Vishnu? Say my name. That's what Vena was. Then you have to seek, you have to force, you have to militarize, you have to weaponize even religions. Then the pendulum swings too far that way. Right? You can, if you have keen eyes, you will notice now the pendulum is swinging to the other side. The science is coming back to the middle from that atheistic, physicalism and chemicalisms. They're coming back. They're saying, well, we haven't defined consciousness. What are we talking, guys? Come on, let's come back to the middle. And you'll be very interested to know Ishwareshwara Das. The guy who threw the spanner in the wheel was Australian. David Chalmers. He was an Australian scientist. So the pendulum is coming back. He said, we haven't found out consciousness. We haven't figured. We say the cell just died. But wait a minute. Every single component of the cell is there. The enzymes are there. The energies are there. The proteins are there. There's about 15 set of chemicals. Okay, I won't bore you. But there's about 15 group of chemicals in the cell. They're all there. I asked one of the scientists, what do you mean when you say the cell has just died? What do you mean by that? Everything is there. So can you actually define? I asked him, can you actually define what have you lost? When you say the cell has died, can you define to me what has the cell just lost? Can you zero in? Can you come to the nucleus of it, zero into me and tell me what have you just lost? Okay, don't worry about it. So the pendulum is swinging. Now they're talking about consciousness. Now they're talking about what do we actually, we swung too far to the left. Now you can see, if you got a keen eye, you can see it's coming politically, academically. We're kind of coming to them, not yet just there, but it's swinging and it's promising. It's promising. Let's give credit where it's due. We don't need to be fanatic and just demonize every single thing. What is that? KEMD. KMED. Karmi meat-eating demons. You remember that? KMED? Karmi meat-eating demons. So we don't have to... I'm glad. I can relate. I have someone who can relate with what I'm saying. So we don't have to demonize this world like Karmi meat-eating demons. KMED. No, let's give credit where it's due. Okay? The pendulum is coming, and we just have to develop a keen eye. Pay attention. Pay attention. Because you cannot change, you cannot transform a society that you're not part of. Please understand this. You cannot transform a society where you have alienated yourself from that society. Please understand this. You alienate yourself from the society. We use these lovely terms like, KMEDs, loving, affectionate terms like Karmi, meat-eating demons, and we demonize the world. We alienate ourselves. Please understand, we cannot transform a community by alienating ourselves out of that community. We have to be part of it. And yoga karmasu kausalam. Krishna says that in the 2nd chapter. It requires skill. It requires guidance. It requires patience and paying attention. So, coming back to the story, Vena had lost attention, to say the least. Nothing personal, nothing personal. If you don't agree to his decision when you're playing with him, he'd just chop off your head. Nothing serious or nothing personal. Just everyday business. Chop off your head. And then, next player, please. Where's the other one? He's just a bit headless at the moment. So Vena was getting a little bit, it was a bit anarchical, but he's trying to bring it together, but a bit too extreme. So he's coming, the sages had to say, okay, wait a minute, pals, let's knock it off, Vena. If you can't keep chopping your friends, you won't be left with any friends. So that's the danger you're facing. So they're having a chat and they're giving an ideal of what a Mahabhaga noble king is supposed to be. There's two important things for a king to do. I've read the purport, but I'll just highlight the two most important things a king has to do. Number one, he has to provide educational system where the praja can see the difference between the social life they're dealing and there is a spiritual life simultaneously that we are dealing. The king has to be an expert to help out with this. So 13th chapter, the whole Bhagavad Gita is very, very interesting and very ecstatic. But personally speaking, I just absolutely fell in love with the 13th chapter. Just like my first love, like love at first sight. I read 13th chapter, it was just like boom, boom, boom. And Krishna says something very interesting in the middle of it. I think it's 13:24. Don't quote me, but somewhere around that. He says, Ya evam veti purusham prakritin chaiva saha. Ya evam veti purusham prakritin chaiva saha. I'll do English. Even if he's in this world, he's still liberated. Prakritin chaiva guna saha. Sa vartmanopi. Sa yogi bhavet. So he says, although he is completely engaged in this world, he is apart and he is living a parallel spiritual life. Evam veti purusham prakriti chaiva gunai saha sarvada vartmanopi sa yogi bhavet. Something like that. So although he is engaged in social life, in everything, he is still living a simultaneous parallel spiritual life. That's the thread that we are weaving all the time. We cannot become so dialectic, so spiritual, so transcendental that we neglect our social responsibilities, a social life that we have to deal with. Or the other extreme is we become so liberal. We want to bend over so much conveniently to the world that we completely lose sight of our consciousness. So this is what the king is helping do. He is helping weave it's called Vaidika, Adhyatmika, your spiritual life, your consciousness life, and there is what's called in Sanskrit Vyavaharika, a social life. So you have this Vyavaharika and you have Adhyatmika. You have this Vyavaharika and you have this Adhyatmika. We don't become fanatics on both ways. And that weaving, Krishna says, Yoga Karma Sukausalam. So that is the classic example of a king. And then what does the king do? What does the next thing king does? King has to establish. Now when we hear all this Varnashrama, the Brahmanas, the Shudras, the Vaishyas, at least for me when I was a teenager, the thing that comes to my mind is okay, I don't know how to put these things nicely. Anyway, okay, I'll say it. The panda like pandits in the temples. As soon as you call Brahmanas, the thing that comes to your mind, at least to my mind when I was a teenager, those panda-like pandits in the temple. Grumpy. But no, Brahmanas are actually very groovy people. Brahmanas are very extremely groovy. Very extremely. That's why Prabhupada keeps making the point again and again and again. There's a distinction between jnana and vijnana. Someone who accepts a vast experiential knowledge and lives it is Brahmana. Because I'll just give you a linguistic proof. Brih in Sanskrit is vast. Brahma is also the word for Vedas, is a vast experiential knowledge that has been systemized. Brahmana, when you put the na, it means one who is living that. So it comes from the root called brh. Sanskrit is an English, very interesting language. So it starts from brh, which is like very vast, and Brahma, a systematic knowledge, systematic, vast, experiential knowledge, one who has accepted that is a Brahmana. They're very groovy people. They're very groovy people. They should be able to get you into the groove. You sit with a Brahmana or a Vaishnava with us for a little while, they should be able to get you into that groove. Ah, this is fantastic. That's beautiful. Wow. That's like, takes me into a ride, doesn't he? Buckle up your seatbelts, because Kansas is going bye-bye. Buckle up your seatbelts. Now, talk with him. That's a Brahmana, is groovy. It's not like, Pandit, you didn't, what did you, you didn't wash your hands after you touched the plant or some plant. No, not like that. So Kshatriyas, not those kings who are obsessed with respect. Please respect me. Why don't you respect me? Oh, you respected my dad so much. Anybody watch the movie Gladiator? Yeah, that was the problem, wasn't it? Like Marcus Aurelius. Why did you respect my dad Aurelius so much and not me? Obsessed. That's not a Kshatriya. Kshatriya rules by a systematic knowledge under the groovy Brahmanas. That's Kshatriya, not afraid to take up a sword. I have to kill today? No, you're not a Kshatriya. You might as well take up something else. No, that's not a Kshatriya. So then we go to Vaishya. Vaishya is not people who are dehumanizing, commercializing this planet. You know what I'm sure you're starting to know what I'm talking about. Vaishyas are not colonialists. Colonists like going around the planet, colonizing the planets, dehumanizing in the name of commercialism. I hear some capitalistic, I'm not going to take names. You may know if I say who they are. But they have no problem to say capitalism is the best thing that has ever happened to this planet. Like no problem with saying that. Wait. Can we just qualify that statement a little bit, please? How about saying a healthy capitalism? Or other side, when you say socialism, the Marxism is the best thing that has ever. Whoa. Just look back the 50 years. There's 50 times more genocide by the Marxists and the so-called socialists. 50 times more than all the dictators put together, all the religionists put together. So this material, this dehumanizing commercialism, this is not Vaishyas. Vaishyas are taking care of the sadhus. And just not the human sadhus, there are animal sadhus. And who are they? Yeah, who said that? Very good. Good catch. So they're not just human sadhus, they're animal sadhus. We've stopped paying attention. Just look at their lives. Look at their lives. They're living their life as a sacrifice. That's Vaishya. Like, let alone dehumanizing, they don't even, dehumanize a cow. It's all a structure. It runs because of the money that they're generating, the economics that they're generating. That's how the Vaishyas are. And the Shudras, no problem. You Kamsari Sendas, you be Brahmana Vaishnava, Shirva Narsingha, you be Brahmana Vaishnava, no problem. Okay, Radhika Prasad, you be your Vaishya, whatever you are. Or, okay, Edward, okay, Rupa Raghunath, you go be Kshatriyas, no problem. We are here to facilitate you. We'll pay our taxes, and we know you're going to be equally reciprocating to us. You're facilitating us. So we don't have any problem. We have a mutual, you scratch my back and I'll scratch your back. It's a fine deal. You have any problem with that? Would you have any problem with that? No problem. It's just so hard. The times that we are living in, it's become so hard to even imagine a society like this. Even imagine a society where winners and losers will equally celebrate. Can you even imagine? Like recently, just give an example. Recently, India lost I'm going to pain some people's hearts. India miserably lost to the Aussies in the Border Gavaskar Trophy. But can you imagine a world where it doesn't matter who lost or who won? India, Ashes. Let's take Ashes, okay? I think I'm going to India Aussie is too fresh. Let's take all Ashes. Yeah, far away from us for now, at least for 18 months. It doesn't matter if the Palms are the victorious or the Aussies, but the celebration is equal, the learning is equal, the pleasure is equal, the prasadam is equal. Would you have any problem who wins or loses? The lessons are equal, the training is equal, the celebrations are equal, the regard is equal. Would you mind who won or lost? In fact, you will have more pleasure in that activity rather than taking one side and just cheering for one side. That spiritual world. That spiritual world. There are winners and losers because sometimes Balram's gang is winning, sometimes Krishna's gang is winning. But everybody gets prasad. It's not like you losers take that halwa out of his plate. He's a loser. Give them a little less varuni no varuni for you today, Balram. You lost. No, it's not like that. Everybody gets the same lesson. Duryodhana gets lessons from Balram. Okay. Now I'm throwing you the trump card. Now beat me on this. Beat me on this. Duryodhana gets training from Balram when Arjuna is getting training from Krishna. Come on, beat me on this. That is spiritual world. Samoham sarvabhuteshu. Would you have any problem? No. So this is Varnashrama Dharma. Varnashrama Dharma is not some big white robe guy sitting in Indian temples going Purnamada Purnamidam. No, exotic Sanskrit, chucking exotic Sanskrit shlokas here and there. No, Brahmanas are very groovy people, and Varnashrama Dharma is a very, very groovy system, to say the least. Because why? It's dealing with your psychology. It's got nothing to do with where you take birth. They don't give a toss. They don't give a toss. There's a story I can tell, but yeah, okay, I'll do it. There's a very nice story in Mahabharata. It's called about, maybe some of you may know, some of the Shastra gang here may know. There's a very nice story of a kid called Jai Bala. So he comes to his teacher, and everybody that comes to this teacher, the normal tradition was to ask what your last name is. By your last name, they would know which creed you belong to. And this boy comes to this, I think his name was, don't quote me, but Satyavrata or something Muni. Satyavrata or Satya something. And the boy comes, he's a kid, he says, what's your name? What's your last name, old son? He says, no, I don't know my last name. What do you mean you don't know my last name? My mother is a society girl. Just put it nice way, yeah? My mother was a society girl. She kind of doesn't, she has a vague memory who my father is. Oh, okay. So what I did was I took my mother's name. She's Jabala. So I took her name and my name is Jaibali. And the guru was astonished. He says, that is absolutely incredible. One, you're so truthful. You're not seeking any, you're not, masquerading your story to make it look fine. Just being just straightforward, sincere. So that's why I'm going to give you the name. Oh yeah, sorry, not the guru's name, the student's name. You are a Satyavrata. It doesn't matter who your father is. It doesn't matter what your family line is. It doesn't matter your mother is a society girl. You have what's called a truthfulness in your heart. You are a Brahmana. You are my student. And then he trains him like perfect sage. So they're very groovy people. They don't care. They don't give a toss where you come from. It's about your psychology. It's about your psychology. So don't sadrisham sheshtate swasya prakritir jnanavamapi prakritim yanti bhutani nigraha kim karishyati. 3.3 Krishna says, sadrisham cheshtate swasya. Please follow your nature. Jnanavanapi. Even if you are a great, wise PhD professor. Nigraha kim karishyati. Why are you trying to be pretending to be someone else? Why are you pretending to be a Brahmana if you're not? There is no need for that. Because if you're a good Shudra, and if you're helping out Brahmanas and Kshatriyas and Vaishyas, guess what? You share that piety. You share that advancement. It is amazing. When you go to the retreats, you might have all experienced this. When you go to a retreat, a japa retreat, I'm just coming from a year-end retreat from New Zealand, just landed last night, 10 o'clock. So I'm still a bit... So, some of you may know, Devamrita Swami, he does like year-end retreats for all the book distributors in the world. And we all kind of get there and we're there for locked up 10 days. It's just ecstasy. Ecstasy on tap. Bliss on tap. So when you go there, you will see it's just contagious. That groove, that celebration, that advancement is contagious. You just download that advancement from other devotees. It just downloads to you spontaneously. Sometimes you don't even want it. Like I came this morning and I gave a hug to my Rupa Raghunath, my dear brother here. I'm following in his footsteps. And I'm hoping I'm going to fire up with books this year. Just great guns. Isn't what Aussies say? Going great guns. So I was in the year-end retreat and it just downloads on you. It just comes over you. You cannot deny it. It's become self-evident. Krishna consciousness becomes self-evident. You don't have to prove it. You don't have to epistemologize it anymore. So that Shudras are fine with that. Okay, I'll help out the Rajas, I'll help out the Kshatriyas, I'll help out the Vaishyas, I'll help out the Brahmanas. I'll share in their advancement. What's the problem? Any problem? I don't see a problem. So, follow sadrisham chestate swasya, nigraha kim karishyate. Krishna says again this in 18th chapter. If you don't follow, you'll become a pretender. If you don't follow your nature, you'll become a pretender, Arjuna. You'll become a pretender. So please do not become a pretender. Is it too, how is it, like too heavy? Maybe a little Sankirtan story here, or you going good? Going all right? Okay. So where was I? Yeah, this is what the Brahman. So there's two things I said the kings has to do. Can someone recount? I don't have any more Mahaprasad garlands. What was the first one? And show the social and spiritual life, weave it together. And then it's not so hard. Yad yad acharati sreshta tatta devetu rajana. Simple, right? Second, provide a good systematic varnashrama system, a systematic varnashrama society, where everybody wins. Nobody is a loser. Nobody is a loser. Everybody wins. That is spiritual. What's the difference between you are in Vaikuntha right now? You are in Vaikuntha right now. Please believe me. Please allow me to introduce to Vaikuntha you're sitting right now. The only there's only two differences. There's only two problems. Otherwise we are in Vaikuntha right now. And these two problems Prabhupada gives millions and millions and millions of times, repeats in all his books. What are the two problems? Envy. And the second problem, self-righteousness. I'm special. I'm so special. Because I have look at my tilak. Look at my, can you see that? Look at my Hare Krishna t-shirt. Christmas marathon, I cracked some book records. I'm so special. I feel so self-righteous. I'm too good. Just say my name. Self-righteousness, it creeps in. That's distinction. That is the thing that blocks us from Vaikuntha. I won't take a name. I met a devotee. Okay, I'll talk. Okay, little Sankirtan story. A devotee actually came to my bookstore. And I was talking to him normally. An ex-devotee from 70s. He used to be Prabhupada's disciple. And now, you know the story. Like some of them drifted away. And they met me in one of the Prabhupada disciples, fair incomes, true story, not blowing smoke. And then two of them together, they come to my stall. And I was saying something, I was just generally speaking to them and say, hey, some respect please. Some respect please. I'm a double initiated. One of them, not them, but there was a student with them, their student, and the student kept saying to me, hey, show me some respect. I'm double initiated. And the Prabhupada disciples are looking at the boy and saying, hey, slow down, pal. What's going on? And I said to him, I really respect your double initiation. I have no envy about that. But what happens is, I was thinking, my daughter Meera was looking at all this. And when we were sitting in the van, my daughter was asking, Meera asked me these questions. What was going on there, Dad? What is this double initiation thing? What happens is you develop this distinction, this specialness. I've cracked all the Christmas book marathon records. I'm double initiated. Look at my tilak, look at my dhoti, look at my kantimala. I'm one of the chosen people now. I'm one of the chosen people. That distinction, that feeling of distinction, that feeling of speciality is what is actually blocking him entering into the kingdom of God. So it's catch-22, isn't it? It's a catch-22. What's the catch-22, Kamsari saying? What is the catch-22? You understand catch-22? So what is the catch-22 is, which is first, like you don't get job if you don't have experience, but you don't get experience if you don't have job. That's a very simple example of catch-22. So it's a catch-22. We are an exclusive movement, that we cannot deny. It's a Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. So don't play jokes. Okay? Put your foot down. Yes, authentically. Boom. We are Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. And we have teachers that can plow through the theology like you've never seen before. Right? They groovy. Right? On the other hand, but this distinction is stopping us from the kingdom of God. What do you do? What do you do? Mahajanayena gatasa pantha. What do we do? Let's say it together. Mahajanayena. I couldn't hear you. One more time. Yeah, so we do that. We do that. Tarko pratishto shrutaya vibhinna nasam rishim yasya matam na bhinna dharmo hi tattva nihitam guhayam mahajano yena gathasapanta. So we follow a good guide who is able to do this, who is able to view this. Yes, we are exclusivists. We are Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. We are not going to apologize for that. Are we? No. Are we? No. We are not going to apologize for that. But we are humble, insignificant, little, happy to glorify Krishna. Insignificant doesn't mean that we are not important. That's the problem. When you call yourself insignificant, the lapse is that the little deception that goes, the deception you give yourself is that you may start thinking you're not important, unimportant. No, that's not the point. We are insignificant in the sense that we are little, but we are very important. You're all bhakti yogis. I mean, there's more chances of winning a lottery, the full big mega bang lottery, than coming into contact with this movement. So we're not going to apologize for being in Brahma Madhva Sampradaya. Okay? But at the same time, we maintain that calmness. We get rid of that distinction. Just chuck it out. Just pull it out of the heart. Throw it in the drainage. No need for any distinction, for any kind of positions, any kind of victories. No need for that specialness of the example that I was giving, hey, give me respect, I'm double initiated. You know, look at my dhoti, look at my kantimala. That distinction, no. Just calm down, knock it off, guys. So, I've explained there's some theology, but do we have some time? Okay, just 2 minutes. So, here it is talking about, because we can't miss out those 2 points and do this purport. So, finally, the Maharajas, who is he going to satisfy by this activities of Rajarshis? What is the Mahatma going to do? And this Prabhupada is explaining, this sloka is explaining, there's 2 things that he's going to do. One, he's going to satisfy the Vishwatma and he's going to satisfy the Bhuta Bhavana. So this is a theological point we need to really get a good grasp of it. Because if we don't get a good grasp of it, we don't understand Krishna Tattva. If we don't understand Krishna Tattva, then Krishna Graha is never going to sting you. Do you want to be stinged by the Krishna Graha? Hands up. Who wants to get stinged by Krishna Graha? So you need to understand Krishna Tattva to understand Krishna Graha. Bhuta Bhavana is someone who doesn't have a beginning and who causes everyone else to begin. This is a Gneyam Yettat Pravakshame Yagnatva Amrutam Ashnute. So there is a verse in 13th chapter. He is beyond cause and effects. He is beginningless. most of the time we are talking between ourselves, we talk very easily about eternity, endlessness. But we seldom talk about beginningless. Because you cannot be endless if you're not beginningless. Did I completely confuse you? Are you going to start throwing things at me? Chuck those bottles at me? Okay, I'll go slowly. We are very familiar with talking about endlessness of Krishna. But categorically speaking, philosophically speaking, theologically speaking, something can only be endless if it was beginningless. Do you see what I'm trying to say? Anything that has a beginning should have an end. If something is endless, it has to be beginningless. You are parts of Krishna, which means you are beginningless. That is the point I'm trying to drive. Krishna is endless, means he is beginningless. Anna, you are Mamaivamshu Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta. You are parts of Krishna, means you are as beginningless as Krishna. Because you are parts of Krishna. A whole cannot be without the parts. So you are all beginningless Bhakti Yogi Atmas sitting here on the way to become Mahatmas. Now, does that make your day? Did I just make your day? You are all beginningless, I'll repeat it, you are all beginningless Atmas on your way to become Mahatmas. Bhakti Yogi Mahatmas. Tell me, I made your day today. This is a time to celebrate. There's no need for us to be grumpy about it. This is a time to get together, celebrate, and what the next part is Vishwatma. That's very important. Vishwatma is very important. Krishna begins us in the sense that we are his race, if his son. The next part is Vishwatma. You have to understand this, very interesting. Because after beingness, after existence, then you're carrying something called cognizance. Sorry about all this philosophy. I'm really, really sorry. But what happens is when there is a conscious entity, it's just a natural next step that you want to know. And when you want to know, someone has to facilitate the knowing, and that's why his name is Vishwatma or Vishwambar from Chaitanya Charitamrita. So one, he's giving you beginning. Then he's becoming Vishwatma. He facilitates your knowing, cognizance. And then finally, the natural third step. Once you're a being as an adjective, and once you're cognizant, what is a natural next step? Come on, I gave it away. Beingness. Who said that? Very good. Very good. So, beingness is Sat. Cognizance is Chit. And the final automatic next advancement, next progression is bliss. So he is being, so we are being. So he knows Sa Aikshati, we know. He is bliss, Krishna, so we are blissful. So it is so simple. It is so simple to go to Vaikuntha. It's not so complicated. No envy, no self-righteousness. Yeah? No envy, no self-righteousness. Happy to serve and get bliss on the tap from Krishna. And anybody has a problem with that? Okay, let's go over these 4 things. Okay? And we will be in Vaikuntha today now. No enviness. Let's say it together. No enviness. No self-righteousness. Third, ready to serve, ready to glorify. Fourth, bliss on tap from Krishna. Haribol. Isn't that fantastic? You got a problem with that? No problem. So, final point I want to make. Now that we have such a classic book, I mean, you might call me a fanatic Hare Krishna. Okay, it's easy for you to say Radhika Prasad because you're a fanatical Hare Krishna. But yeah, maybe I am. But this is just, you couldn't stop being astonished by this book. Can you ever get stopped being astonished by this book, Sriman Narsingha? It just keeps Anandambudhi Vardhanam. Keeps just going and growing and growing on us, right? So what do Udaras do? We're supposed to be oceans of mercy, right? Sometimes I struggle to be puddle of mercy, but anyway, that's I talk to my wife about it. But what I'm trying to say is, we are not even puddles of mercy sometimes. We're supposed to be oceans of mercy. So now our job is to weave that social and spiritual thread, right? And last message I want to give you, you cannot transform a country, you cannot transform a society, you cannot transform a community, you cannot transform a town, you cannot transform a group, you cannot transform a creed if you're not part of it. You alienate yourself with your jargons, with your codes, with your outfits. We alienate ourselves. What happens is, we have to find a way. We have to find a way to weave that thread and give this, come on guys. Find a way to pass this book to the people out there. Find a way. Hook or crook? No, sorry, no crook. Just joking. No crook. Find a way to pass this to others. Find a way. Be your own Indiana Jones. Be your own Robin Hoods. Be your own Indiana Jones. Be your own Han Solos. Be your own U2, but be your own Indiana Jones. Be your own explorers. Find a way to pass this to the others, and let us, not just us here in Vaikuntha, let everybody on this planet go to Vaikuntha. Just everybody, just give everybody this free pass. This is a free pass here to Vaikuntha. Who's with me to just give this to anybody without any discrimination? Hands up. Who wants to do this? Thank you very much. Thank you for coming here and listening to my grumpy, my grumpy spewed. I'm very happy. I'm with all my passionate body language. I'm very happy to be corrected. So if there's any comments, corrections, even comments, or Radhika Prasad, get out of here. No, joking. Finish and get out of here. Comments, questions, fire it away. Wow, I must have done a good job. Okay, so or you can't wait for your breakfast. Either I've done a good job, or you got your eyes on your breakfast, which is a very smart thing. Don't get me wrong, that's a very smart thing. So I really appreciate how you prioritizing your day. So वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंतकोटि वैष्णववृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की।
enthusiasm.